Rising. Does everyone want some water? Grand Rising, Grand Afternoon, Grand Evening, whenever you're seeing this. Hello. It is I, Jazziel. Let me adjust this again. Hello. It's I, Jazziel. That's it, boo. To those who know. So I'm just gonna jump into it. I was going to start at 2, and I was like, oh, maybe at 2:30, and it's 3:19 where I am right now. So yeah, I'm gonna just start. I'm just gonna jump in. Alright. We're just gonna jump in. Uh, I did one live before this. Breathe, let's calm down. I hope you all are well. I've had a very busy few days in between the last stream where where I, where I first started going over my TikToks and some spirit led connections that I went over. And guess what? That video got copyright. So whoa, it scared me opening the garage. That video got copyright, so I'm not quite sure what it is that I played that made that video copyright in the first place. But I found a way to access my Google Photos on here, but they're only backed up until it looks like July 2025. Which is when the old phone of mine stopped working. I used to have Google Pixel. So let me just go through here. I think the other ones were from 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Um, sorry. Hello. Um, so let me look through one minute. I think May 10th, 2023. Is where I wanted to start doing storytelling. Hello in the chat. Hello. So I have saved these. As you can see, again, maybe I showed it too fast, but this is from May of 2023. So, this was kind of where my tummy. I literally just drank a whole bunch of water before starting this too. So, I'm gonna eat something after I finish this stream, but I also don't want to just rush this and get it over with, you know? So I'm trying to share the updates. Like I was putting a lot of collages together, like filming stuff outside, and then for some reason the videos didn't save or didn't fully um process to be edited. Because like I would try to upload one or two of these to put together like as a compilation on YouTube, and it was like not allowing me to select multiple to edit into one. And then I tried that on TikTok, but TikTok has a time limit. So um yeah, I kind of didn't really have a solution because my MacBook has been not usable, let's just say. It's something with the screen. Hello in the chat. Hello. Thank you for thumbs up already. Thank you. I appreciate it. But for some reason, like I'm pretty sure it was the Wi-Fi I was on. Like I was at a public library Wi-Fi, and I went over last stream when I was applying to be a police officer. So like literally right after I withdrew from that, the next time I went to the library, I was like typing a bunch of poetry and going through like the videos that people had sent me from the open mics from spring break before I moved out of Virginia. So I was just going through like my stuff cuz that's the mindset I was in. I wasn't even fully in the mindset of moving out of Virginia to Oklahoma, funny enough, even though it was like the next week I would be doing that. But yeah, I was just on public Wi-Fi at the library, and the computer screen like glitched and started playing a video. And I was like, oh, what the heck? Because I was literally typing, like I was texting someone back, and the video like skipped to the next video, and then the screen went blank, and then it stopped working. And I was like, oh, maybe it was at a battery. Let me try to plug it in. Like I was not paying attention to what, like, the actual cause could have been. But sorry, that glare was bothering me. But yeah, I had not been able to use my laptop since like March 28th. So actually it was less than a week before moving. March 27th, 28th, something like that. But like right after I left the library, I met up with someone. So I was like, oh, that's weird. They're spying on me or something. Like I got hacked type of thing. And then I moved in April, and I lived with extended family for almost 2 months. So I didn't really live stream or do very much inside the house. I was actually had signed up to do a personal trainer online certification. So that's what a lot of my free time, well, not really free time, but that's a lot of what I did during the day was study and like reading the material, like digitally reading anything sucks because you're just, staring at a screen, and so your neck is like this, and your traps, obviously, like your shoulders and your traps are affected, but also your neck is messed up, which messes with your spine, right? So your entire posture is affected, but also like your eyes, like it's not good for your eyesight. But anyway, after I lived with the extended family, I was dealing with a lot more than just my issues. My issues look very small next to other people. Let's just say it like that. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be saving the videos that don't pop up on here for some reason. For whatever reason. Like I don't know, because last time I tried to look it up from the TikTok account link um, that I emailed myself. Like it worked, the link worked obviously, but it was saying some of the videos are unpleasant or uncomfortable or something, so they don't show all of them. So I was like, oh, interesting, you know. I'm gonna try to pull it up again and see. Excuse me. So let me go through this 1 second. So, but I'm gonna talk about the last few days um, before finishing going over this stuff, because okay, now it's showing. I think it's showing all of them now. I'm not sure completely because I can't like check on the mobile to like really confirm, but it's not showing that sentence underneath my profile anymore. And I was like scrolling through it, and it looks like it's showing the rest of it. So um I'm gonna look through and see where I want to start. 1 second. Yeah, it is showing all of them today. Funny enough. Um, so hold on, because now I might not have to do a part three and just make this a longer stream. But this is gonna take at least 2 hours to go through, because these videos are 10 minutes or longer. So I just want to say that. Let me count though. Let me count. And some of the educational content, again, I posted on my YouTube. I think it's YouTube Shorts. Um, but I'm going to, completely post everything on my YouTube that's educational after I post these. Excuse me. After I delete these off of my TikTok. So, yeah. But I'm gonna go over the stitched videos, and then that will lead me into this 6 10-minute long videos. So that's, going to take an hour, right? And then the stitches also help me with, excuse me, leading into certain topics about the aura and about grounding. But I also might just like end stream and then restart stream to specifically go over the TikToks and stuff that's about auras and like biofields, because I don't want too much, like, I don't want the stream to feel scattered, but I'm not going to do a stream where it's like 5 hours where I went over my timeline, personally. So, um, yeah, I'm going to try to remember not to show two of these, but they are educational about grounding, so I kept them up, for the last, week that I would be having this account. So if people looked on my account or they saw a comment and went to my account, they would still see the information. So some of this is opinion, like because of my experience in life, but a good majority of it is educational, like through research. But I'm gonna move over here to this side, um, just because my little brother's back home. I don't know if he's working today, so we're just gonna focus on what we're doing, you know. Not worried about other people. Drink some water. And we're gonna start. And it's a bit chillier outside too, so I did want to go for a walk maybe later tonight, but yeah. So before going over this stuff, let's just get into it. So on Thursday, I did that live, right? After that, I went out, got groceries, came back, got some more alkaline food. I posted a YouTube short about chayote squash. I got a bunch of them. I bought cucumbers. I bought, like, not everything is alkaline. Like, I bought some smoked salmon, some organic tortilla wraps, and tostones, like, just some stuff to eat. Like, oh, I know I'm gonna eat this for a meal, because sometimes, like, I do this thing where I'm like, okay, if I eat completely plant-based or completely fruits for the day, like alkaline, I'm gonna have to do a lot of prep. And yesterday I made a smoothie, and that was like half of what I ate, until like 7, well, like 6:30, because I was at an academic advisor's office yesterday for almost over an hour. Yeah. They stayed late to help me, so I was very appreciative that they took a walk in 15 minutes before they closed. Um, but let's backtrack. So on Thursday, I went grocery shopping. There was a smoke shop I was gonna go to. It closed. I was like, well, that's a sign. Not getting anything tonight. But the next day on Okay, I meant Wednesday. Wednesday night. Sorry. Wednesday night, I went grocery shopping, got the stuff, spent $80 on like everything, and I came back. I bought spinach, smoked salmon, tostones, like 5 cucumbers, I think, 4 or 5. 5, I think, chayote squash. It's like one number off. It's either 5 or 6, but I got a bunch of these things because they're mostly water based and they're extremely alkaline. And both cucumbers and chayote squash help lower stomach acidity. So that's the reason why I got so many. So unless I look at the receipt, I don't really recall how many I got, to be honest. But I got one cantaloupe in the fridge as well, and then um, got almond milk. It was on sale for, I don't know why. Maybe it was the brand. But it was on sale for like less than $2. So obviously I got two of them, right? Um, and then what else was I got? I got seaweed. I got this cool sweet chili Thai flavored seaweed and then regular seaweed. And then I got some chamomile lavender honey probiotic tea. I made a YouTube short about that because I'm gonna save the story for that. Watch the YouTube short, but it literally had one different packet of tea in it, and it was L-theanine tea, and it was literally like a purple package in a box of tea of all yellow packaged tea. Like it's incredible. It's astonishing, really. I'm so blessed for real. Um, so yeah, and then I got some cool hemp seed protein powder. So instead of using hemp hearts, I could use the protein powder instead. And this cute little, like the uh, 50 cents or 60-cent little pies that they have. I got an apple pie to celebrate. And then, yeah, the organic tortilla wraps. Um, and I'm trying to think, but I would have to look in the kitchen in case I'm missing something. But that was the majority of what I got. Oh yeah, and some oat milk mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's what I got. A little pint of that. Um, so yeah, that's everything. I'm pretty sure now. Um, and then so that was Wednesday night. Now we have the time I'm right. On Thursday, it was I went out into the city and I went and got my computer fixed. Finally. So it's in the shop. They said you have to wait a week until they can get to it, but I'm like, that's fine. I'll just leave it there, for y'all to work on. They said my charger does work, so it is something with the laptop itself. So hopefully in a few weeks they'll be like, oh, we were able to, do this or that to fix it because it's something with the screen or a chip in the computer. They said, but that was just through like the regular basic diagnostics. So they do have to work on it, but luckily they don't have to send it out anywhere else, which is why I didn't want to go to like an Apple store because I know if they can't fix it in the diagnostic, they send it back to like a warehouse for someone else to work on, type of thing. Um, so I'm very glad that I got that situated because I also am in college now, so I need my own laptop for sure. And back to what I was saying, and I just showed you in the beginning of the stream. I want to be able to have my videos edited and posted. Um, so yeah, and I've had that computer since 2017. It was a graduation gift. I did not want to part ways with that laptop ever, truthfully. Um, so yeah, after getting all that out of the way, um, I also got, what was it? Because I made some breakfast burritos before I left, so I didn't have to go out and buy something. The only thing I bought was water, like a water bottle. Because there's like a convenience store gas station next to it, the computer place I went to, so I just got some water. Um, and then I was just running a few errands, but on the way, like, I took a lift to a different part of town, and then I was walking, and like, at the end of the night, I looked at how much, distance, and I walked 4 miles that entire night. I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm so tired. Um, but I found a bookstore, and I got to talk to them, and one of the people there was like trying to start a book club, and they showed me like, oh, they have this publisher um that I work through, just like it's so interesting to me because like that whole day it was like, okay, just walk a little bit further and you'll get some form of connection. Like I'm trying to think of how it was told to me like spiritually, but it was like saying like I got advice in my spirit, and it was like, from my spirit team, obviously, but it was like you're just a few conversations away from where you actually want to be, or you're just a few conversations away from what it is that you want to pursue, right? So it's like that whole statement about closed mouths don't get fed, and it's like literally because you could be asking for something and it's just two conversations away. But because you were afraid to ask for it at all, you know, you're not going to get it type of thing. So it was a like Thursday was just a whole day for me to be out and kind of explore and run errands, and I did that. And then after walking a little bit, I found a bicycle repair shop and showed them a picture of the bikes that I had and talked to them and basically was like, okay, this is the deal. Can you like Frankenstein, some of the pieces from the other bike um, type of deal to make it work? But one of them is just the seat that's wrong. The other one is a bunch of things that has to be fixed. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to fix both or just turn both of the bikes into one really well working bike. But yeah. So I found a bike repair place. I found a bookshop that has a publishing company and a book club they're trying to start. And they have like events if you wanna, like get a ticket for an event for the community. I thought that's cool too though. Like that they're renting out their bookstore to have certain workshops or community events. That's pretty cool. Um, and then I went to a place and I got some crystals and talked to the people there and a necklace. Um, but it was I just got a lot of like questions answered, so to speak. I'm trying to say it kind of vaguely without going into super detail, but it's like I understood why I was rejected from getting a job there, and it has everything to do with like the the type of person the shop owner is. And not to say that in a negative way, but their beliefs and my beliefs just clash, and they're not really open to certain beliefs. Let's just say that. So, and leave it there, really. Um, but I enjoy talking to the people there for the most part, and they like working there. So sometimes you get friction about answering topics, um, like, oh, I don't know, let me ask, my other coworker or whatever. But they all practice Wicca in some form. So I was like, oh, interesting. That's not quite what I practice, but it's adjacent to it because I work with the elements and I practice taking care of the earth. But I'm more into the science part of it, and I'm more into like science, health, spirituality versus just crafting and being a high priestess, so to speak. But that's their whole thing. They want to be high priestess. They want to practice whatever you know they use it for. I don't know personally, um, but it's not like I cannot coexist with people. So that's the point. Like I could still go into a store, even if they have different beliefs in that establishment, be a customer, you know, like versus some of the other places I went into, and they're like, if you don't buy something, they like treat you differently, or they stare at you the entire time you're in there. Um, so yeah, I think it's very interesting. Um, and then there was like a hair beauty supply place I went to, and I bought two scarves for my hair, right? And then the lady like checking out, there were two ladies checking out, but one of them was like, "Oh, I do hair, yeah." And it was just kind of funny because I was like, "Oh, how do you, what's your price and what do you charge for hair?" And they're like, $100. $100. I was like, "Oh, okay, interesting. Is that for twist? Is that for, And then we're having this conversation. They're like, yeah, $100 doing hair is expensive. Not if I'm adding hair to it. Not we're gonna style, blow dry, and braid your hair $100. It was $100 flat out. So I went home, I took a shower, I washed my hair, and I did this. So since Thursday, my hair has been like this because I'm like, $100 a bag, $100. No. Um, so, so yeah. But everybody was very nice. Everybody was very nice. You know, as I went out on the town. But before that, because that was like right before the sunset, I went to the hair place. And before the bike place and the bookstore, I was walking and there was a dental office on the way, you know, on the street that I was going down, right? And I was like, oh, let me go in there and see if they take new patients, right? And they're like, oh yeah, we might accept walk-ins if the doctors have time today. I was like, okay, how much do you guys charge for just a cleaning? And then it was weird after that because the conversation went, oh, um, like it just got way too personal. Like I literally just asked how much is a cleaning here. And she was like, well, do you have an account with us? Um, do you have your examination information? If you don't have that stuff, we have to set that up. And then we have to get you a new patient exam. And then after the exam, we decide what type of cleaning you get. And I had never heard of that before. So I was like, oh, okay. So how much is the exam, right? And I'm just kind of following the track that she's on. So, so she's like, yeah, with the exam and cleaning, it's gonna be these prices. I was like, oh, so like $300. And she's like, yeah, yeah, about 300, yeah. And I was like, okay, so it's $300. I would have to set up an account, and then if they have time today, they would see me. Yeah, no, I was like, okay, thank you, not today. Um, that's crazy to me. Like, and also when I've been a new patient at like other places in Virginia, like moving and going to find a new dentist, the exam fees were waived if you were a new patient. Like they're like, yeah, you get a free exam and just pay for the cleaning if you're a new patient. I was like, okay, cool. But I've never had to pay for like a dental exam, and I'm like, it's too much. Like $300 is too much. I'm sorry, it's too much. Um, so you know, as the academic advisor said to me yesterday, we'll kick that can down the road and, and get to it when we need to get to it, realistically. But I don't like dentists anyway, so it wasn't. It's just something I'm not gonna deal with right now. Um, yeah, I can go on a whole tangent about fluoride and cavities and whatnot, but we'll leave it there. Because if worst comes to worst, I will choose some boiled cloves and drink ginger tea and do a parasite cleanse. I'm not gonna go get a cap or a crown or a root canal or like I just don't understand how in the medical industry that their solution to a sickness or an issue is to just take out the organ or take out the tooth. Like, man, oh my gosh. Um, yeah, if I could find a holistic dentist, I would stick with it. But it's just no one's gonna convince me that spending hundreds of dollars is worth it. And then it's like, their whole thing with medical offices. Oh, do you have insurance? Like, no, I don't want to buy something that I'm not even gonna use for real. Like dental insurance, car insurance, home insurance, medical insurance. Like if I'm not using that every single month, it just feels like a waste to me, honestly. Um, but I do understand if you're working full time somewhere and they're like, oh yeah, we have these benefits, vision, medical, dental, would you like to take the benefits? Yes, then it's worth it because you're working a full time job, you're not going to stay on top of every single thing about your self care hygiene regimen, sure. Um, but at the same time, I just feel like the option of getting insurance is kind of a cop out to not learn how to take care of yourself and just say, oh, yeah, I'm going to invest my money and my time for someone else to do it. And then again, their solution is to take out your teeth, to put chemicals and stuff in your body. And I just hate that. Like, I even hate getting ads about medicines or like certain prescriptions because I'm like listening to all the side effects. And I'm like, how do people actually trust the pharmaceutical and medical industry? Because if you're taking an eye medication and it can potentially make it worse or cause liver failure, like, why are you taking that in the first place? Like, I don't get it. Um, so yeah, that's a long explanation to why I did not get a $300 exam and cleaning that day. But next door to this like family dental establishment, whatever, they had a family counseling building, and they had these cute art portraits and paintings on the wall, and it was clearly like someone, you know, not like professional going to the store buying art. It was like people had made the art, like hand painted them, and then they put it on the wall. And there were very beautiful pieces of like elephants and flowers and just purple stuff in the background. It looked very whimsical and cute. So I was like, oh yeah, let me go in there. Um, and I was like, you know, just at the front, and then someone came out and greeted me, and nobody else was there. Funny enough, it was just that one person who's like the office admin, but she was so nice. Like she was smiling for like majority of the time. That I even talked to her. I was there probably like 20 minutes, but yeah, she was like, "Oh, we do have therapists. We have, these options." And there's someone who just like finished school and graduated, but they're still doing the what they call like shadowing hours or volunteering hours. Um, until you finish those hours, you can't become a professional in that space. Which is the same for teachers, psychologists, those sort of more professional roles, I guess you would say. Um, so yeah, they're like, oh, there's someone who's still doing these shadowing, mandatory hours, and they won't charge. You could see them. They're available Wednesday and Thursday out of the week. How does that sound? And I was like, oh my gosh, like again, going back to that closed mouths don't get fed. You're only a few conversations away from what you actually want. So if I didn't stop at that dental office place and then go next door, and then if I didn't, if I stopped there and was like, oh, let me just come back later. But I waited for them to finish their conference call. So I was like, oh, someone's at the front. I'll call you, later. I waited. I talked to them, And I was like, yeah, let's try it out. And then I went into their office with them. So, um, that was something that you couldn't have asked for. You couldn't have written in a book any more, perfect than that, I guess, is a way to say it. But um, it's just so interesting because it's like I do know that I have to do a certain level of counseling to move forward in life. Um, and it does have to do with, what I talked about about narcissistic abuse and being isolated and how much that changes the way that you see the world, right? But I also want to just get, like I was saying before again, like get a lot of the stuff that I'm still processing, like processed, so that I could focus on the science, the writing, the putting more things together on a bigger scale. I'm not too good at doing things on a smaller scale. So going to college and doing counseling, I feel like is going to help me accomplish those things. And also just be a more well-rounded person and not feel burnt out um, from trying to do other people's emotional labor for them. And I'm just going to leave it at that, truly. Um, and it's also okay for me to like move away from the narratives that people have, you know? Um, and I'm seeing, I'm still scrolling TikTok just a few times a day now, really, before deleting it. But it's like people are talking about how it's okay to just remove yourself and say, your truth is not my truth. But, again, we don't have to see the world the same. We don't have to believe the same things. We don't have to hate each other. You know, you could just disconnect. Or you could say, your truth is not my truth. And that's okay. I don't want to change you. I don't have to change you. But live the life you want to live it. And I'm going to live life how I want to live it. And I think it's really incredible how much, when you take aligned action and inspired action, the universe, spirit, will meet you halfway. Because if I didn't decide to leave the house and, find places to fix my laptop or find the things that I was looking for, to run errands, I would not have found a, open, free, available counselor. And I would not have found the bike repair place, you know. And if I do want to spend $100 getting my hair done, um, I do have a connection now for someone who knows how to do hair in Lawton, um, which is what I meant by going to the city over. I meant going to Lawton. Um, but it's just very reassuring to know that the world isn't so disconnected or doom and gloom all the time. And I think that me not watching the news, not listening to the radio, and not having a phone that makes calls or texts, I think a lot of the anxiety that I had before um, has been able to dissipate. Um, and I'm going to potentially challenge myself to not have a phone completely and just work off of my laptop after it gets repaired. Um, but that's another thing. Like we'll kick that can down the road, and see where that goes. Um, but this has been a great replacement phone. Um, for the meantime that I've been here, I've been able to network. I've been able to film. I've been able to access my email and work on my YouTube channel still. Meeting those little milestones that I wanted before the end of December. It was also really inspiring for me to continue to do this, even though the stuff with copyright, with the sounds, I'm still figuring out this algorithm really. But it's kind of funny how a lot of people who are like streamers or YouTube, they have Patreons, to kind of get around the licensing and copyright issues that this app is trying to have. But I think it's like, they copyright so other people don't make money off of their sound. But I think it's just, to me, it just seems like it's gone too far. Like, why can't I play 10 seconds of the song in the background? Why can't I play 10 seconds of some, or not 10 seconds, but like a few minutes of someone else's YouTube video and react to it? Um, so the digital landscape itself is changing. And I'd also rather not have to focus on so many apps. Like, I barely use Facebook, um, even though it's for marketing. I just barely use it. It's just another way to connect with the people here, because so many people just use Facebook for everything, sadly. But anyway, um, I'm gonna be just going over everything from the TikTok videos and deleting it tomorrow to close that chapter. Um, and then going through all of the videos saved from my backup on Google Drive, like, or Google Photos, whatever it is, um, of the stuff I saved from 2023 to 2025, and then free up that space as well. So I'll be able to shift focus after that. So thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Um, Now that we've gotten all the announcements and stuff out of the way, um, yesterday I was able to go on campus and meet with um, just the advising department, like the whole building, really. But I went to the financial office first, and they said I got the Pell Grant, so super exciting, almost $4,000. So they're like, yeah, you're approved for the whole thing, but if you only have one class, you're not going to be able to use the whole thing. So I was like, oh, bet that. So, very exciting, right? Um, and then I signed up for more classes after that, but it was like 15 minutes before they closed. So I was like, okay, I hope, they could see me today as a walk-in appointment. Um, but they did, and it was funny because I was talking to the person at the front, and they're a work study person. Both of the people I talked to in the financial department and the academic advising department, they were both students doing the work study program there. So they're really big on campus about helping people and doing financial assistance or work study programs. And they have a lot of clubs. A lot of clubs. I did not know that before. Um, and I'll talk about that after the advising session. But basically, I got to speak to someone for an hour and like 15 minutes because it was almost 6:30 by the time I left there. But they saw me. It was a very quirky guy, and they did a lot of what ifs. Like, okay, if you took this major, then these are the classes that you would have to take, or if you took that major and this minor, or stuff like that. Excuse me. So that was like 1/3 of the of the advising time, and then the other third was like taking the classes, getting the information set up in the system, figuring out the schedule, where the buildings are, stuff like that. Um, so that online class is still going to be online. That was the only option. There is an intro to university class that's 50 minutes once a week. That is actually going to help me set up my um, like the whole year, like how I plan homework, testing, classes, schedule, everything on Blackboard, everything on my student access account. So, very exciting stuff. And I'm glad that they have a class like built in for that. Like that's really cool. To me, I guess. Um, and then one of them is just over Zoom. So I have to sign onto Zoom and, show my face and be present. Um, so it's kind of funny. I think they said they're gonna meet in person for the test and the finals, but the class is literally over Zoom. Um, so I was like, okay, it's kind of another online class, cool. Just more effort, but yeah, I think that's at 9:30 in the morning also. So I have to completely um switch my schedule to get up way earlier now. And then one of them is in person. Um, on the same day as that intro to university class. So I have two in person classes and two online. One's kind of a lot more effort than the other, but I'm also technically a week behind in those classes. The intro to university, there's no homework, right? It's just to help you set up your stuff. But the other one is the intro to English composition, and um, yeah, the other one is on Zoom. So the funny thing is, I have to look up my AP classes that I took in high school and see if I can actually count those for like credit. If not, I'm gonna have to retake them, in college, which is fine, but I didn't know that was an option. And then he also said, like the academic advisor also said that you could test out of classes if you know enough information already about them. You could test out of certain credits. And I was like, really? So I'm also gonna look into that because I didn't know that colleges let you do that for real. So that was very exciting news. And then, um, yeah, they got me signed up for a degree instead of undeclared. So I do have to catch up to um, the class on Zoom, and then one of the classes, the English comp in person class. But again, the funny thing is, it's a 3-day weekend for them. So they have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off for Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So I'm kind of even more behind because the professors won't even answer like the email to ask, what it is I need to be caught up type of thing until Tuesday. Um, so I was like, let me just take the rest of this weekend and not worry about anything else related to college. um, so yeah. On Monday, I'm gonna check my access to everything and my student portal. Now that I have a schedule, and then I'm still gonna look at the um, like I'm waiting for the housing tour list to come back, so I have to wait again. I have to wait past Monday and check my email on Tuesday. Um, so yeah. Um, and the other funny thing was on the way, on the Lyft ride over to Cameron, it was someone who was taking a class at Cameron at the university. And they're like, yeah, I'm 50 years old. And funny enough, the classes that I have, they're around your age. So she's in, she told me one of her, like literally the ages of the people in one of her classes and like her experience in it. And I'm like, wow, that's gotta be annoying. She's like, yeah, it is very annoying. So, like, I was going in there thinking, I'm old, I'm 27 going back to college. And there's literally a 50-year-old person going back to college taking class with like 20-year-olds, 20 something year olds, 18-year-olds, you know? Um, So I just think it was so funny how I was like I just felt like I was at the right place at the right time. Um, for a lot of what I've been up to recently. So that's why I didn't go over the other half of my TikTok account for 2 days now. So lo siento, as they say in Spanish. I'm sorry. Um, but at the same time, it's like, life happens. We plan things and life happens. So if I didn't go see the academic advisor or, the financial office or anything else on campus, um, or around campus, I would be 2 weeks behind. Um, so I think it's just interesting the timing of things, divine timing, you know. And then after all of that, right? After I left the academic advising office with my folder and schedule and all this stuff set up like an actual student, instead of just taking one online class, um, I had to wait outside for like 30 minutes until someone came and kept me company. Um, which, funny enough, because they're showing this movie in the communications building on campus, and then as I was standing outside waiting, I'm literally sitting there talking to the president of the Film Society Club, and I did not know that until having a conversation for like, the time that we were waiting. So again, it's like one of those things where you're just a couple conversations away from the actual conversation you want to have, because after that, I went in um, with the president and then Dr. So and so. I'm not going to say their name, but one of the English professors was the sponsor of the Film Society Club. So, he obviously helps run it, helps get the movies that they watched licensed, um, all that stuff, right? And he's the one that I emailed about the movie in the first place. I was like, hey, do you guys have shuttles from campus to other locations? He was like, no, we don't, but, best of luck to you. But I emailed him to ask, if the building was going to be open or if he was on his way, type of thing, because I was there so early. And in the meantime, while I was waiting outside for his email reply, was when the president of the Film Society Club came. So it's just kind of funny. Like I didn't know he was sponsoring, the Film Society Club either. I just thought, hey, it's someone who made the announcement. I thought it was a student, honestly, because it just said like campus announcements. See this building, for the movie, or contact this, number, email for more information. I was like, oh, this must be a student, posting this. So it's just funny because after that, like after the doctor showed up, basically, the English teacher, he called the campus security and they were able to open the building, right? But later on, I'm asking them, like, as they're setting up for stuff, I'm asking them, like, oh, how's the Film Society? How does this work? Because they're wearing shirts. So I was like, oh, that's cool. You guys are official. How does it work? What do you guys do? And basically, they're saying they just watch a movie once a month. And then they do like student sponsorships for like recruitment. So they have like something where they, do a week of um, different clubs and recruiting people for those clubs or doing outreach on campus. So that's it. They just have to do a meeting and then watch a movie. Like it's so simple. Just clean up before and after, the movie showing. Um, so I was like, wow, this is super easy. And you could just be an officer in this club. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I signed up so quickly. Like, did not have to tell me twice. But I had already given them my email. because I was interested in the movie. So they had all of my information to sign me up as well. So I was like, wow, look at all those things that just fit right together perfectly. Um, so the first day I'm on campus, I find out I have funding. I was able to sign up for classes and declare a major. And I was able to see a movie for free and get popcorn and snacks. It was very nice. They're very generous. But also sign up for a position in a club. So I feel like I'm already on the right track, you know? Um, and I'm a little distracted because I'm thirsty. So I need to get some water. One sec. I need to move this. Okay. One second. Oh, one second. One second. Okay, I needed to move. My little brother was watching something in the kitchen next door. Um, yeah. Okay. Now I feel a little bit more uh, warmer and in the privacy of my own space. So yeah, really positive experiences, really amazing. I feel like I have said before. I feel like I'm I've outgrown these relationships. I've outgrown this state. But I think the best way to prove myself right is to do something that I'm afraid of doing and becoming a part of something larger than myself. So going to college is that very scary thing for me. Is that scary financially, scary relationships, scary in terms of letting other people see me, scary in terms of accountability with myself, just scary. And I don't mean scary like, ooh, I'm gonna have nightmares. I mean scary like, I don't know how it's gonna go. So I am trying something out of my comfort zone, but at the same time, I go there, I go on campus, I talk to all the people, and I just boom, 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 like connections immediately, connections immediately, like oh my gosh, immediately connections. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, I went outside to smoke. Honestly, I did. And I have a video recording of me like just talking and kind of like celebrating. Um, and I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it because I still am um, partaking, but I know what I'm partaking in. I'm researching the things, and um, I'm not having any carts, any vapes, any bongs, any papers, joints, machines to roll up like the grinder, none of that. It's strictly from places that comply with the Farm Bill of 2018 or their dispensaries, but what you call it, I only have a card in Virginia, so I don't even have a card here to go to a dispensary. So yeah, but it's not something that I'm gonna do forever. I am in a really big transition period of my life, so I'm not afraid to admit where I'm still working on. And plant medicine is better than me becoming an alcoholic or me being on pills or me being in a just terrible relationship with someone or overworking myself. So anyway, I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying at this point in my life, smoking um is fine. I don't even smoke half of a J. It hits me very quickly. So and I go to sleep. Yeah, I go to sleep. The worst thing that happens is I don't remember to brush my teeth. So I'm working on it. And also I've been really kind of not really motivated to do as much healthy things as I have been before. I was really passionate and fired up after that personal trainer certification that I got. And then it was like, oh, well, in reality, people around you don't care about their health and they're not exercising. So you just look like you're accosting them, I think is the best way to put it. But you just look like you're trying to complain about something else someone else is doing. Um, like outside looking in type of thing. But then I'm reminded, like I go online and I'm reminded, people don't know this information and people are looking for this information. So that is a very big indicator that your environment will dictate how you view the world. Your relationships closest to you will absolutely change how you view yourself at times. Um, and there's a quote that I wrote down, but it was like, someone on TikTok posted, if the people around you do not see you for who you are truly, then you will change how you are to fit in, and you won't see yourself for who you are truly. And I'm very much guilty of doing that, which is why I think I'm okay with doing talk therapy again, but it's specifically with someone who has a focus in PTSD and trauma. So that's why I'm okay with it. I'm not just signing up to be on, what's that? The BetterHelp talk therapy. Like, no, I need to see a specialist. So yeah. And the other thing about that counseling was they're like, if we can't help you, we will direct you to someone who can. So that's also another reason why I'm like, yep, let's start it up. Um, but after I figure out more of the scheduling and the process of doing classes and navigating that, especially since I live in the city over, um, no car, mind you. That's the context. I have no car, um, and have not. I'm not familiar with campus outside of going to the library because my parent goes there. So when they went to the library to study, I went along one time. Another time it was just me visiting the library for a bit to ask about teaching classes. But now, since I'm a student, I'll get all the information, all of the time, the resources, the help that I need. And funny enough, on top of that, it actually might be cheaper for me to live on campus than to even rent an apartment near campus because they have um, what's it called? So I have to get an ID card there. It's $30, but with that access card, it you can go anywhere on campus, obviously, but they have a pool and a gym, and I believe a sauna, if I'm not mistaken. But they have a pool, a gym, and a sauna, and they have movie screenings that they do, like I just shared with the club. That gives you access to the library. So if you want to rent out equipment like a laptop, headphones to go with the laptop, a charger, if you want to rent out a room, um, like for a certain period of time in the library, you can. Um, if you want to eat on campus, like if you have a meal planned for the cafeteria or food court, whatever it's called, that is loaded onto your ID card. And I believe that's the same way that they do the laundry, but I haven't even done the tours, for the apartments or the dormitory housing there, so I'm not sure. But I do know if you do stay on campus and rent out a dorm or an apartment, you get free laundry and all of the utilities are included and it's furnished. So it's really not a bad, like, there's no downside to living on campus, um, unless you're worried about safety and finances. I'm realistic, right? Like, I waited to sign up for more classes because I was waiting on finances. So, like, I'm still waiting for some other money to come in as well, not related to the university or grants. But I do know that they have a lot of financial aid and a lot of scholarships and things like that. So I could just, sit at the financial aid office and ask the person who's doing the work study program, like, hey, how did you do this for us? I don't have to explain it step by step. But anyway, that's the really good news with that. And I think it's happening so rapidly because it's like, this is where I'm meant to go in life. This is the direction I'm supposed to be headed. And also, on campus, they have a lot of academic advisors and counselors. And they also have an enrichment center for students and a wellness center. So they can get you connections to jobs, to and I didn't know that they do studying abroad. I didn't know that the campus was that connected. So they do have certain programs where you study abroad. So I was like, oh my gosh, like my vision of what college was just opened up so, like, tenfold. It opened up so much more. And not that I speak on politics, I'm really trying to not to do that, but it's kind of like so much happening in this country, it's a little bit like forcing us to talk about it realistically. Um, because if you don't mention something that's happening in the news, you just look like an NPC and you're heartless, truthfully. But with the ICE raids going on right now, with the stripping of departments and funding, and the things going on in politics, especially in the White House, I think that for me, living on campus or near campus, I really want to live on campus um, at this current moment of time. But even if I live like 2 streets away from it, right, it still would be great. Um, but anyway, if I lived on campus in a dorm, I feel like number one, it's safer for me. Number two, I'd finally be able to have my own space to myself and focus, not renting out a room with family friends, not renting out a place with my boyfriend of a few months and a family, not renting out a room from my family, not staying in the living room on an inflatable mattress with extended family, or with living with a coworker, because I've done that twice now, and not living in a really small town with absolutely no funding to businesses or community events or anything like that. It would be detrimental for me to stay here in the city over, in a smaller city at that, but in the city over, and constantly having to take lifts to, or asking people for favors, but I don't really have someone to ask for favors like that. Um, Not to get into personal stuff, but it's been a little bit of a difficulty getting consistent, stable um, water sources, and then my diet changes so much that it's like I need to constantly be going shopping for produce, especially. So it's not like I can go shopping one time a month or even twice a month anymore because of that. And um, as well as like there isn't a community here for me. There are people to network with. There are people to talk to. There are people to kind of learn more about how business is. Like when I did that workshop, again, I'm gonna mention it a lot. But when I did that workshop at the Excel Wellness Space, like I learned a lot about business cards, marketing, speaking to people, elevator pitches, describing my business, getting understanding of what it is I actually want to do, and then going in that direction, and then going back and researching, and then looking at like the recordings and stuff. Like it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to actually get to where you want to go in society. And since my thing is I want to educate people, I want to break barriers, and I want people to heal, all of that is outside of the parameters of what society is pushing today, right now. So I feel like um, there are a lot more like minded people and people in my situation on campus or again, near campus. But realistically, for me to have the enrichment that I want to do, to have my own space, to not worry about finances as much, and to still be connected while not having a phone, like that makes calls or text, and also staying on top of all of my grades and being healthy, right, with those fitness clubs, with access to grocery stores and wholesale places, things that are just healthier, um, and again supporting business, again networking obviously, but being able to get grants, funding, and more business, more connections would be to live on campus. Um, And if I weren't so worried about a price tag, like most people are when they look at going to college, right? It's something that's between 12K to 30K a year, outside of what you need to do, like for textbooks, for administration fees, for transportation fees, for housing, for food. All of that is not even taken into account when I say that price tag. So, I'm not someone who's having a defeatist mindset or a lack mentality, but if someone were, to say, hey, I'm going to pay for you to learn, all you have to do is learn and give me back this information after taking this class. Like, hey, here's a paper. Hey, here's a book. Hey, here's, a theory. Or here's what I've been able to understand from looking at society or the certain part of society after taking these classes, because the the degree I'm getting is a bachelor's degree in science, but my major is sociology and my minor is environmental studies. So I'm going to be able to have the environmental studies factor without having to go through biology, dissecting animals, learning about the meat industry, or agriculture. I would love to learn about agriculture, but the way that they teach it is the supply and chain demand side of agriculture. So, yeah, and I didn't want to go into psychology and be a social worker, caseworker, therapist. Um, so, sociology is going to be the way that I combine my business and the things that I'm already doing around being a grounding coach or a specialist shaman, right? Someone who just is a seer, understands things on a bigger scale, but be able to take into the micro, the smaller scale, which, again, I said early in the live, I'm not too good at doing the smaller scale, small picture things. I'm good at doing the large picture, big picture understandings of things. But I also believe that I'm going to like be a student and live on campus and be involved because there are certain relationships and people that I'm meant to meet. You know, I know at least I'm going to leave college with a friend, a very close friend, right? And, you know, potentially it'd be nice to meet someone to connect with that has either had the same experiences as me or has been through similar things in life as me. But, you know, I'm not too focused and worried about my love life right now. I just feel like it'd be super, super, super duper cool if I met them on campus, like on my progression journey to trying to make this information more accessible. Number one, to the public, more understandable, to connect with someone like me who's not just, you know, knows the basics of things but has experienced this level of healing and integration and grounding because it helped me. So, um, and I'm also just not someone who regurgitates things. I think about things on a complex level. I think about things too much, actually. So, having relationships and forming close bonds, um, either in business or in personal life, you know, with friends or romantic. But I feel like all of that's possible on campus, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, now to transition. Take a talk. So I'm going to um, try to go over this for an hour, but I do want to. If it goes over an hour and a half, I am going to make a separate live because by 6 o'clock I do want to wrap this up and eat something. I ate really late dinner last night after watching the movie, and I took like little snippets of it because it was so loud. It was on like 68 out of 100. But it was like on a projector screen, and they had speakers. So I was in the front row, and there was the speaker to the left of me, but the whole thing just felt so like it was a Western movie too, but it was so loud. Um, and I don't know how old the doctor is, like the sponsor of the Film Society Club, Doctor So and stuff, right? The English teacher, right? I don't want to say people's names. It just makes it a little harder. But anyway, the doctor and the sponsor of the Film Society Club, he looked like he was in his 60s, late 60s at that, but he was older. So he talked for 10 minutes about the movie and the actors and whatnot. And then they played the movie. So I had smoked and came back to the front row, mind you. So everybody had come in. It was like 7:20 by the time, 7:25, something like that. But they're like, yeah, we're gonna start the movie at 7:30, and he talked from 7:30 to 7:40. Like I checked on my phone. It was probably a few minutes after 7:40, realistically. But I saw it was 7:40 when I checked the time. I was like, oh my gosh, I did not think he was gonna talk for this long. So I'm sitting there like visibly, like my eyes, you know, I. Um, but I had put all the rest of my stuff in my bag, and I waited till the lights turned off to, you know, fully take everything out of my pockets. But they were working on the roof of that building too, so I kept my gloves and my jacket on, my scarf, everything. Um, funny enough, and I just took like two short little snippets of the movie, but it was so loud. He lowered it a few from 68, but it was super loud, super loud. Um, and then the movie ended around 9, and then people left like 5 minutes after that, not even 10 minutes. I was like, oh wow, okay. And I was just sitting there eating the cookies, like these little I think they were like M&M cookies or something. I was like, oh, the movie just ended, and they're like cleaning up everything. I was like, oh my gosh, wow. So yeah, I had like unhealthy food last night, really. because then I went to Applebee's and I did something I haven't done in over a decade, which was eat ribs. You would never think I would say that. I recorded a little video of me there too, because I'm like, 3 years ago, if Jazzio from 3 years ago told me I would be enrolling, it's still not believable, and I'm literally living it. Holy crap! But if Jazzio 3 years ago would have said, you're gonna be living in a really small town, you're gonna be borrowing electronics, and not have your own. You're gonna be um, enrolled almost full time as a student in college, and you're gonna be celebrating by getting high and eating ribs by yourself at 11 o'clock at night. And let me tell you that the popcorn, cookies, and then ribs, and then I had water and strawberry lemonade, but that strawberry lemonade tasted like pure sugar. I was like, I need to remember to brush my teeth so they don't fall out tomorrow. Like, I was nursing strawberry lemonade, bro. Like, let me tell you. Oh my freaking goodness, let me tell you. Anyway. And then I asked for a to-go cup for it, and I mixed the water and the strawberry lemonade together. I was like, I need to cut this drink. It's too strong. It's too strong for me. Holy crap. But anyway, I literally finished most of the food except for one piece of rib. I just brought that outside. I was like, okay, for the birds type of thing, or whatever animal takes. I don't know if birds eat ribs. Um, Whatever. But I was like, okay, let me put this one piece outside. But I ate fries with it. So between watching the movie and eating dinner, um, I left my garage opener the way to get into the house. I left it by accident um, before leaving. So, because there were some people here on a work repair thing to fix the tub. So I was talking to them, and my little brother was talking to them, but it was literally before I went to campus. So I was like trying to grab all my paperwork and my cards and all the stuff I was bringing with me. Make sure I had gloves and a scarf because my hair is like this. I didn't want to put a hat on, but I literally forgot the garage opener. So I went home and I was like, oh, nobody's here. Shoot, I'm knocking, and mind you, it was like 35 degrees, windy. So I had sweatpants on and the puffer jacket and a scarf and gloves. And as I was on campus, like, walking from the advising center to the communications building where the movie was, freezing, windy, terrible, right? I didn't even remember I had gloves until I was waiting outside the communications building. So I'm sitting there holding the map, like trying to read the number to match the name of the building. I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Because the buildings don't have numbers on the outside of them; they have the name. So it's the music hall, communications building, you know, etc. like that. So on the map, it shows the numbers, and then there's like a key, I think is what it's called. It's like a key, and you have to match the number to the name. So I had to look outside, walk, and hold the map in this freezing weather, and then look on a map, like check, like, okay, walk a little bit, check. Is this the right direction? Okay, walk a little bit. Okay, this way, like literally. And it was the sun had already set, right? Past 6 o'clock. Windy, freezing. First time walking around campus by myself. I had asked the academic advisor to like mark on my map. I was like, please, I don't know where I'm going. Please help me, tell me. Um, so yeah. Um, but anyway, I came back home and it was still windy, Wind was cutting right through what I was wearing. I didn't wear too many layers, sadly, that day, yesterday. But I also didn't know how late I was going to be out because I thought someone would still be home because of the repair stuff. So I was like, oh, well, I guess my little brother's working the closing shift tonight. And then my mother had, had left wherever she went. I don't know her schedule or plans or whatnot. Um, but she doesn't stay at this house anymore. She just visits and picks up my little brother. Sometimes checks on me, sometimes doesn't. So, um, like she'll just call him and ask him about what he's doing for most of the week. But anyway, I don't. Let's not get into that. Um, so I made that mistake of assuming someone would be home at around 9:30. So I'm knocking, but I don't see any lights on. I'm like, crap. He's working the closing shift, and my mom's not home. Like I didn't see the car up front either. So I was like, crap. And I emailed, because that's my form of contact. And I emailed my mom, and she replied back almost 2 hours later. Um, but by that time, waiting for a reply, I'm like, I can't stay out here more than 10 minutes. Like it's gonna be miserable. And I didn't, know someone well enough to be able to stay at their house. So I was like, well, let me just go and see about getting something to eat at like the convenience store, like a snack. Um, but they didn't have Wi-Fi in there for me to look up places nearby. So they're like, oh, go to Max, go to this other place. So it's like a 10-minute walk there. I used the bathroom, and they're like, oh, sorry, we don't have public Wi-Fi. And I didn't find something like a snack there that I would want to eat. So, and they had nothing hot either. So I was like, okay, let me just go to this other place. They have Wi-Fi, and then I'll be able to figure out what to eat. And I got some really unhealthy stuff. Some glazed little mini donuts, in like the 6 pack. And I got those. I ate those there. I found Applebee's was open to 1 a.m. I was like, perfect. Because it was like it was past 10 by that point. So I just ate the donuts, still a little bit high. But the weather, it was just too windy to be walking anywhere else. So I was like, I need to just eat dinner. I haven't eaten basically all day. Um, well, I did eat, but I ate the apples and seaweed, like one chopped up apple and then a little packet of seaweed at the academic advising office. So, and then popcorn and cookies. And then I had glazed donuts. And then I went to Applebee's and had ribs and fries and strawberry lemonade and water. And guess what happened? After I finished that food and I was, waiting for the tab, I had closed my eyes because I thought I was about to throw up. I literally sat there and had to sit through the hot flashes and queasy stomach and feeling drained, and the air was not fresh in that establishment. Let me just say that. It was also something to do with the air quality because I was like, I feel sick right now. I feel sick. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I don't know. I feel sick. So I just sat there. I just sat there with my eyes closed, waiting for the tab. The waitress came back because I was watching something on my phone as I was eating. Taking my time. Um, they had gone back almost 11:30 because I was emailing my mom. They had Wi-Fi at Applebee's. But I was like, yeah, I just got the tab. I'll be, you know, going back in a few. But I had to wait almost 30 minutes for a Lyft ride back, which was crazy because it was busy all Thursday, all Friday. But Friday night, for some reason, I had to wait to get a Lyft. I'm like, geez, okay, maybe it's the weather. Um, so it was 12 o'clock when I got a Lyft ride back. And my mom emailed me. She's like, are you? It's been 20 minutes by now. And I'm like, I had to wait. I don't know. Now I'm waiting for the lift 2 minutes away now. Um, but yeah, it was like 12:30, 12:40 when I got back home last night. So yeah, I slept in. um, but I was up. I was up for a while. And I was just waiting for the rest of the food to process. Like I went to the bathroom before leaving Applebee's, and when I came back home, and I was like, okay, I didn't throw up. I didn't, you know, have explosive, mm, you know. I didn't go number two, number three, nothing. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to sleep. So I would just rinse off my body and go to sleep. And I made sure to brush my teeth, and I flossed. I got everything out, the sugar, the meat, the salty stuff, all of it. I was like, oh, no. I need to floss and brush my teeth. And I used this tooth powder. Um, but yeah, I made sure. I got that low vibrational food out of there. Out of there. But I had to listen to a parasympathetic sound bath to get my body into rest and digest, which is the parasympathetic system in your nervous system. So I literally had to play that to be able to go to sleep, mind you. Sound healing is the future of healing. Another example right there. Right? Okay, so now 450. Now we're caught up. All the cool, fun things were caught up. Also, I will not be doing that again. I will not be going back to Applebee's. I will not be having ribs or strawberry lemonade or any of the things that I did last night. I will not be doing them again. That felt so. I literally, like, my whole body was rejecting what I just did. Um, so yeah. And also, I did that to celebrate, though. I did that to celebrate, and smoking a joint is not a way to celebrate. I needed to go out. I needed to do something that I felt like doing, and I needed to do it by myself because I don't have people who fully support me or fully see me authentically. So I'm fine celebrating by myself. Also, I will not be oversharing personal details on live anymore after getting a counselor, going into counseling. I just felt like it was necessary for me to say those things about my history um, in that 5 hour live and then that other live talking about being the black sheep because I had gone to therapy after my parents divorced for the first time. Then I went to therapy when I was 19, I believe, 18 or 19, talk therapy. And you know what they said? They told me after you move out of your house, you'll be just fine. After you move out and start a career, you'll be perfectly fine. It's the people you're around. They're the issue. So I'm like, okay, wow, but yikes. Um, and then after that, the third time I went to therapy, um, was through, um, what was it? The work provided, the free therapy I got from working at Walmart full time. Yeah, yes, they give free therapy. They know working there is really really tough on you mentally. And just the people you deal with are crazy or they're just really really dumb. So I'm very glad that Walmart uh, stepped that up. Um, but it was CBT therapy. So the therapist's advice was don't listen to people and ignore their opinion. Whoa, amazing! I'm so glad. Like no, I after a few months of that, I just stopped it. And I think after they had specifically said that, like just ignore them, don't worry about the people. That was right around the time of the um, the Free Palestine movement and the things on TikTok, which shadow banned me on my first TikTok account. So we're gonna be going over the second one and deleting this because that app is very much on an agenda and very much about censorship in this country. So, yeah. Now we're gonna actually, after 3 minutes, we're gonna pivot. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. So now I'm gonna switch the setup and go over a few of these stitches. And at 6 o'clock, I am going to be eating something. And make sure y'all can. Oh, right as I was gonna say, make sure y'all could see this. Screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go over these stitches. So. Those of us who experience suicide ideation have those. Oh, so it was a stitch with this person on TikTok. Hello, hi, how are you? My name is Jazziel. I'm non-binary, and it's nice to meet you all. I made a comment in this creator's video saying how that type of ideation is really just a hormone and vitamin imbalance. And they replied back, well, it's not just that. And then, they got into it a little bit more. And I was like, well, there's not really a short response to this, so hang in there. I'm going to explain everything that I have come to knowing and understanding the past 2 months about what they would like to call mental illnesses, but what I call mental injuries. So really quickly, this is the research that I went over this on my YouTube live stream in way more this is when I was going live at the park in the summer. I'd gotten all this information together and I was like, oh, this is a perfect time to show my research on this video. But this is from August 31st, and this is basically my summary of 2 peer-reviewed articles from September 2023, and they were about the link to schizophrenia and excessive activity of dopamine neurotransmitters, which is an overactive dopamine pathway. So basically, that is what gives off symptoms like hallucinating, and this complex condition can be from very specific things in your life, such as having the umbilical cord wrapped around your neck, or like having to have a C-section for you to come out of your mother. Those are like 2 specific things relating to birth that can potentially cause schizophrenia. Also, brain cancer can cause schizophrenia at whatever age you potentially develop it. So there are specific things that are out of our control sometimes, let's just say. But going back to this article, is this complex condition involves multiple neurotransmitter systems, including glutamate, GABA, serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine. Disruptions in these systems cause different symptoms. These are cognitive deficits and negative symptoms that can occur. Research is still ongoing, but they're trying to explore more of how they interact with each other. And glutamate is affected, which links to the negative symptoms, specifically social withdrawal, impaired cognitive function, memory and attention problems. GABA affects disorganized thinking when it is negatively impacted. And that was an article from April 2016. And then the article from May 2022 was that there was a proposal of a dopamine hypothesis from the 1960s that they looked over. So it says schizophrenia is a severe type of mental illness, right, that affects a person's thoughts, perception, and behaviors. Research estimates about 1% of adults have it. The neurotransmitters are impacted negatively, most notably dopamine. Movement, mood, sleep, dreaming, learning, and memory are all related to dopamine levels. Neurotransmitters are the brain's chemical messengers that help your nerve cells communicate with one another. Different neurotransmitters attach to different receptors on your nerve cells. When the neurotransmitter binds to the right receptor on the cell, it triggers that cell to take a specific action, such as a key going inside of a lock. So back to schizophrenia. Some symptoms may be triggered when certain areas of the brain have high levels of dopamine while others have lower levels. For example, while the mesolimbic pathway might exhibit hyperactivity, the prefrontal cortex, on the other hand, may have reduced dopamine activity. Your mesolimbic pathway is also called your reward pathway. It transmits dopamine and regulates your motivation. This regulation or constant um, dysregulation leads to addiction, depression, salience shifting, schizophrenia, and overall just not taking care of yourself properly. The prefrontal cortex has four subregions which control your self awareness, emotional regulation, social behavior, impulse control, attention, focus, and executive function. So, if the prefrontal cortex is damaged, this leads to OCD, ADHD, depression, anxiety disorders, and again, schizophrenia. But if your prefrontal cortex grows, this leads to increased maturity, emotional intelligence, and improved cognitive thinking skills. Bipolar disorder, on the other hand, is a chronic psychiatric disorder with depression and manic episodes. It's an issue with mood regulation. The leading cause of disease related disabilities worldwide is apparently bipolar disorder. Some patients also don't adequately benefit from the treatments they've received in hospitals. Underlying mechanisms need to still be clarified, but recent studies show a relationship between vitamin D deficiencies and this particular disorder. A case controlled study consisted of 34 manic bipolar and 34 healthy control patients. The bipolar manic patients had lower vitamin D levels, so there was no difference in calcium or phosphorus levels. Therefore, decreased vitamin D levels play a crucial role in the onset of manic episodes. Further studies are still needed to compare with different types of mood episodes, but vitamin D is only 10% from your nutritional intake. Nature has vitamin D2 and D3,
Which you get from sun gazing and grounding.
and it is absorbed directly from the sunlight, as you know. And to quickly summarize the rest of it, a vitamin D3 deficiency can trigger inflammatory processes. Vitamin D
That's
deficiencies
very
led to
important.
comorbid psychiatric problems due to its critical role in the brain development and homeostasis, disrupting neurotransmitters synthesis, impairing neuroplasticity, and increasing your neuroinflammation. So, in the brain, vitamin D acts as a neuroactive steroid hormone. The deficiency affects your mood regulation and behavior. Low levels over time worsen the effects of stress on your brain as well. So there's the explanation of how mental injuries, as I like to say, but mental illnesses are caused obviously from trauma, but they eventually lead to hormone and vitamin deficiencies, which affects your brain and basically keeps it in a loop with what I just explained, right? That is research based. You can look up those articles and the years that they're from. Now, I just looked this up
Now walk with me now. Walk with me now.
in pertaining to that previous person's video. Suicidal thoughts and behaviors are based on emotion and impulse control. The ventral prefrontal cortex is involved in suicidal ideation, which is behind and above the nose bridge bilaterally. The dorsal prefrontal cortex is involved in the suicidal actions. Its spatial and objective working memory and problem solving and planning happens in that part of your brain. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and insula may mediate the transition from the thoughts to the behaviors. Your amygdala may become disrupted, causing depression, dysfunction, and constant fight or flight mode. If your amygdala is constantly in this fight or flight mode, it creates emotional triggers that, are stored in your fascia. And your fascia is basically another layer of skin around all of your muscles, which holds the memory of your whole lifetime. So, neurotransmitter systems, as we just heard, help mood regulation. If your dopamine, norepinephrine, and glutamate are disrupted, this also causes the amygdala to be disrupted. The imbalance is trapped in your fascia and creates the emotional trigger by putting you in fight or flight mode, which tenses your muscles, which creates, again, that emotional trigger in your brain. ADHD is associated with this disruption in cognitive and behavioral integration from abnormal activation of your dorsal prefrontal cortex. So I need to make a part 2 to go over herbs and natural remedies for it.
Which I did. I posted that video. I believe it's posted as a YouTube short, but I had a list of 10 different herbal teas, that help with cognitive function and just your brain overall. So that is posted. But this video specifically was stitching again with this creator on the right. And I said, I hope this clears it up. You can absolutely heal your heart, gut, and brain by balancing your vitamin and hormone levels for meditation and sun soaking outside, aka grounding. The spiritual conversations need to be grounded in knowledge for it to be motivation instead of just opinion. Please go outside and heal your body. Was in response to them. But again, you would have to watch the full stitch to understand it. I put that towel for noise canceling if anyone's curious. But this is part 2.
So I also wanted to go over really quickly what cortisol means in case anyone was unfamiliar. So I got out my notes. So cortisol is a catabolic cause of a breakdown in your protein within your muscles. Cortisol is antagonist to your body and inhibits glucose uptake and utilization.
It cut off part of the video, by the way. It just started here
Is
talking about
naturally
cortisol
secreted within your pineal gland, which helps calm down your body and regulate your sleep. So now onto the fascia. Okay, let's fix the background really quick. So this is from an article from Brisbane, Melbourne, Australia. I do not see the year that it was published, but it is attached to testimonials and someone's business, like medical business. So I will link the website in the caption. But so to explain what your fascia is, this is my summary from the article. So your fascia is a shallow and deep connective tissue anatomically surrounding and separating your bones, muscles, and organs. Recent studies, however, show that the fascia is a dynamic and responsive organ. It is critical for maintaining homeostasis and communicating with other systems, such as your nervous and endocrine systems. Your fascia contains a variety of cells and molecules that produce hormones and respond to signaling molecules because it contains a network of sensory nerve fibers and receptors. These receptors respond to mechanical, chemical, and thermal stimuli. Furthermore, the fascia has a huge role in pain and inflammation. Abnormal tension and adhesions within the fascia stimulate pain receptors. This triggers the release of inflammatory receptors. This then triggers what is known as chronic pain and dysfunction. Also going back to talking about hydration, when your fascia is dehydrated, this can cause poor movement patterns in your everyday life, leading to musculoskeletal imbalance.
And what it means by your fascia is dehydrated, you need a certain amount of water and a certain amount of vitamins and minerals for your fascia to be healthy and fluid so that your posture and your movement is not affected. So if you're constantly sick all the time, you're losing vitamin C and vitamin D. Specifically, vitamin C is needed to build collagen in the body, and your fascia is 1/3 of your body's total collagen. So that's what I meant by a dehydrated fascia in this scientific sense. But I'm sure if you take a listen to what I'm saying in these videos and apply it to the context of society, society is not something that helps you stop being sick. It actually creates things so that you're sick or around people who are sick constantly in the workspace and in school settings. So you're constantly going to have to worry about your vitamin and mineral intake. And as well as a lot of people have issues and sickness just from being dehydrated in the first place. So if you're constantly dehydrated, constantly being drained of vitamins and minerals, then your posture, your mental space, and the way that you move literally in the world is going to be negatively affected, right? And if you're not grounding or meditating or sun gazing, you're not naturally healing and replenishing yourself. So it feels like you're sick all the time, you feel depressed, and you just become worse and worse in whatever state you were in. Mentally, you become worse, physically, you become worse, whatever it is, until you have outside intervention. So if we had a society set up that gave actual medicine through sound healing or through herbal healing or grounding, and a society that also did not want to stress us out or cause fear and chaos and panic and continue to keep us sick, then you would have extremely healthy people and they would be thinking and doing a lot quicker than they are today. And if you had people who understood how to take care of their bodies and think quicker and live healthier and repair themselves, then you wouldn't need a government, you wouldn't need a hospital, you wouldn't need an outside source. So I'm putting this research together and I'm highlighting these things specifically in the body and specifically with scientific language and conversation because there's not enough scientific language and conversation around biomechanics and spirituality. If you wanted to sum up my business, my outlook, my purpose in life, it would be to bridge biomechanics and spirituality because the midpoint or the center point or the focus where they meet is Earth in the middle of that, right? So I'm going to speak for the plants. I'm going to speak for nature because that is the bridge between biomechanics and spirituality, both natural things, both not educated, publicly talked about. So so walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me now.
So now you know how hormone imbalances affect your brain and your fascia, and how it all loops together and cycles together. Okay? You can heal yourself naturally by grounding barefoot or just outside in nature, in dirt or grass, or walking barefoot on grass and soaking up that vitamin D, soaking in the vitamin D2 and 3 from the sun. Being outside literally heals your body, mind, and soul. And all of that encompasses your aura. Okay? That's the science, meaning spirituality. Hope that helps.
And the aura is how we connect everything back to Earth. So this is why I say I'm a grounding coach. Oh my gosh, it just exited out everything. Hold on. But this is why, let's use the background. This is why I say I'm a grounding coach / aura specialist. Because I know where the intersection of science and health is. And it's not talked about in the public. Now is it? No, it's not. So that again, that is my mission. That is my, dare I say, purpose, but that is the purpose of my life at this current moment. So let's not use that exit command and just use the backspace for the rest of these.
Um, but I'm sad that the transition to part two isn't there, and it just jumped to me talking about cortisol in the body. But if you're someone who's constantly sick or constantly stressed out, you're going to lose excuse me, you're going to not produce as much melatonin as you naturally would, and you're also going to increase cortisol levels in the body. And what does cortisol levels in the body do for a prolonged period of time? It turns your blood acidic. Let me say that again. Long periods of high levels of cortisol in your body creates stress, creates hypertension, creates stress that could lead to strokes or heart attacks, but most importantly, it turns your blood acidic. And what happens when your blood turns acidic? Very, very, very bad things. This is why eating alkaline takes out sickness in your body, because it is naturally what the body does. The body repairs itself by fasting and regular fasting, I'm saying, not just fasting one time in your life, but regular fasting and alkaline diets and drinking lots of fluids, specifically water. You don't have to even drink a lot of tea, but specifically water and tea does help. But root-based teas, not I'm gonna have sweet tea, I'm gonna have Arizona tea, I'm gonna have green tea. Like no, root-based teas help. Um, there's tea specifically for certain parts of your body, for your nervous system to calm down, for your colon, for your liver, for your kidney, for your heart, for for your respiratory system, right? There is a tea and an herb for everything. Promise. Promise you. I promise. Which is why I've tried to add in content like that where it's specifically talking about what herbs help with, um, again, like the brain functioning, cognitive function, memory, things that help with your electrolyte imbalances. Like I have these on my YouTube shorts because I'm trying to integrate literally everything together. I don't want you to stress out. I don't want you to feel mentally ill. I don't want your fascia to be dehydrated. I don't want you to not understand that you have the power to heal yourself, right? That's what I do want you to understand. And I want you to understand it by hearing the research, by seeing someone who's been able to turn their whole life around and heal their body inside and out. So I do apologize. That video got cut off. That was TikTok editing. Um, Again, I've said in the past why I don't like TikTok and why I think it's very censorship heavy, but we're not going to stay on that low vibration. Um, so, yeah. And then I have a few messages specifically for people online on TikTok, which is why I'm going over the stitches. That was one of them because it was a person talking about how they're spiritually awakened and whatnot. And a lot of people that are around them or have the same experiences become people that become just filled with dread or filled with those types of ideations because of the heaviness of their role in the family or the heaviness of the responsibilities or the things that they've had to ascend out of. I don't know. But that's why I was like, I need to make a video on this as a spiritual person, but also as a person who just understands biomechanics. Like, there's literally a few things that you could focus on in your body and it heal everything. No joke. I'm not joking about that. If you focus on heart, brain, and gut coherence, everything else in your life will align mentally, physically, spiritually. But yeah, let's not get on a tangent. But that's why I'm a grounding coach, to help people aligned mind, body, and soul with very specific practices, mind you. So here's another one. I'm just gonna do the stitch because it's kind of leads into that. But this is the sound healing and grounding inside advice that I would give anyone. But someone was DMing me and excuse me, talking about potentially becoming a client, but then his girlfriend was upset and emailed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, let's just leave them alone, you know. But I posted this video to kind of do something with that energy and to be educational, in case more people are in their shoes, and not sure if they wanted to commit to coaching, but they were trying to astral project, and they were talking about their dreams and asking what they meant. I'm like, buddy, you need to meditate first. Like, why are you jumping from wherever you're at straight to astral projection? No. If you feel afraid or you're not in control and you understand that you're astral projecting, something is wrong. And you do not need to go into that level of spiritual practice without meditating. That's first and foremost. So don't go, oh, I need someone to tell me how to do this or that. Stop. 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 Because that's like where it starts to get into soul fragmentation if you're not careful. Number one. Number two, again, if you have a feeling that you don't have control over the dream or you're really afraid in the dream, you don't need to be astral projecting. Third, if you feel like you stop having dreams or stop being able to control your dreams, it's a bigger spiritual issue at hand, and I'll leave it at that. Because number one, that's very specific. Spiritual warfare is very specific, and it has to do with your purpose and your bloodline. So I'm not gonna just give advice other than be grounded and meditate, because just like personal training, everybody's case by case basis. Same thing with spiritual counseling and guidance, which I do, but I need to start getting paid for this type of stuff. So I'm going to leave it at that. But here's the free advice I can give to everyone about grounding and being rooted in themselves. Good rising, good afternoon. So here is a grounding technique, crystal and frequency healing. And then these are the channels and the stuff, more information. But I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. And I'm going to try to without me, without my voice being here. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, please don't do it like that. Good evening whenever you're seeing this, and hello. This is a oh my gosh, tip. Okay. I'm still trying to so just stand up, help me. I'll buy it. Is it gonna roll? Wait, is it gonna lean forward? Shoot, it is. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. 1 second. I really need to go to the bathroom. Okay. All right, please. Okay, there it is. Let me just hold it on the top. Okay, wait, you're just standing up. Hold on, wait. Oh my gosh, bruh. Please. Okay. Okay, I'm not touching it. Okay, perfect. For when it is too cold and gloomy outside, as you can see. Perfect, okay. It's not even 5:30 yet, and that's what it looks like outside, so.
Here is a tip if you're interested and you would like to know more, stick around. So, if you are not able to ground outside or meditate by sun gazing outside, listen to crystal healing frequencies. Now, I've already spoken about the auric field. It's two of my pinned videos, I believe, talk about this. But this is Crystal Wave is the channel, and they post a lot of videos specifically channeling certain crystal frequencies. And sorry, I was trying to find another video or something. But this is also another one that focuses on certain healing frequencies, not just crystals. The Harmonic Serene Tunes channel. But this is an example. So they have stuff like obsidian for protection, or they have stuff with certain root chakras. Sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat, third eye, crown chakras. So there's a bunch of channels, but the Crystal Wave is the one that I'm subscribed to. Beautiful harp, melodic, peaceful meditation music, beautiful Buddhist sound bowls, sound therapy. As you can see, they have different titles. 4.4 million, wow. So you can clearly see how helpful these videos and frequencies are. Like these are random channels, like in the recommended section. As you can see, but 2.1 million views. There's one for cleansing your energy, removing spiritual impurities from your morphic field. There's subliminals, there's harp music, there's animal totems, and I've seen like frogs and toads recently. So this is a great sign. Energies of transformation, rebirth, emotional, spiritual renewal aura. Beautiful running water, running lakes, rivers, and indigenous Native American flutes together. Like there's so many options here, but if you are not able to go outside and physically ground yourself, I listened to that for quite some time, 42 minutes. If you're not able to physically go outside and ground yourself because it is too cold or it's not enough sunlight right now, as we are definitely in winter, right? It is December 2nd. So I would go ahead and try out some different frequencies, try out some different meditation music. Again, harps, sound bowls, tuning forks are really good to center yourself and ground your energy immediately, or to even go to sleep to. Some people, like I showed before, put subliminals or certain healing frequencies while you sleep, so you can heal overnight type of thing. But in general, this channel has a lot of really great specific frequencies for healing. This is a good one. Moon and Earth frequency. Transmute negative energy or energy that drains you into high vibrational power. Remove unwanted energetic entanglements. There's a lot about protection frequencies on here, like cutting cords, healing your morphic field, destroying plans of enemies and dark energies. This one is really cool too. Pyrite. Another Earth. I went to sleep to this, as you can see. This is the whole thing. So this is for the Schumann resonance and rain sound, which, again, as I've shared in previous videos about the aura and biofield, the Schumannic resonance is our theta waves brain level state. So this is deep relaxation, meditation, inner harmony, your body going into rest and digest, rest and reflection, all of those things, right? And then there's stuff they put for certain moon cycles, moon energy to cleanse old energies. Again, there was one with the Schumann resonance and the moon, celestial power. This one's really cool. Etheric implants removal, healing your morphic field. Again, like, oh, turn toxic sexual energy into powerful cleansing energy. Mirror alchemy, return to sender, spellbreaker frequency, transforming dark energy into high vibrational frequencies, advanced learning, putting certain brainwave frequencies, the gamma brainwaves, to be able to focus and learn and retain what you learned, right?
one for feminine energy, one for masculine energy, which we all have. It's a balance of them, right? Blue Tara quartz frequency. Again, the moon, earth, and sun frequency, celestial body resonance. I'm actually what if I do? Activate 100% of your brain, more gamma waves, more energy recovery, 432 grounding hertz, 100 mind from mental fatigue, rainbow shield, remove karmic blockages from all your chakras. So many different types of them. This is obviously like this. Oh my gosh, they had so many around a certain time about cutting cords with vampiric energies or entities, shielding against lower vibrational entities or vampiric cords. That's how I got like introduced to this channel, and it was through like a lot of protection ones like pyrite cubes. Was one of the earlier ones. This one, reclaim all soul and energy from vampiric entities, empath healing. Diamond Lion Alchemy. This is really good for internal power shifting. This is good too. Wash away karmic blockages to unlock divine. I forgot what it is. To unlock divine blessings. But just listen to this.
Amazing, right?
Like this already sounds so peaceful, right? I have a playlist. I do meditation and then resting and rewiring, which I put these things on, and then when I'm in a certain mood, I just go through the playlist, so I don't have to keep searching for them. But this is a really great one. I just forgot to put in my playlist. And anything, honestly, with water sounds or ocean sounds, look at that, another brainwave state, hemi-sync, deep brainwave synchronization. This is also really good for people who, like myself, get emotionally or energetically overwhelmed while being around others, or feels like they could just feel other people's energy all the time. Very good for that. As well as, again, this one, oh my gosh, this one, oh my gosh. This was like the second video I watched, but I felt the difference in this short 22 minutes. Oh my gosh. Coffee diamond frequency to remove dark entities removal from your morphic field. Such a really strong one. That coffee diamond frequency. Amazing.
Banger.
And then this one, yeah, this is, I think, one of the first videos, is transmutation of hate and anger into self-love and high vibrational energy. I'm not mistaken. Yeah, see, reclaim stolen energy. There's a bunch on here. Obviously, I'm not going to say all of them are, you know, I wouldn't listen to all of them per se, but if you feel called to, you know, go through this channel, listen to some of the frequencies. Some of them they use archangels, some they use guides. You know, some of them inner child. You know, healing emotional wounds, working with your morphic energy, getting into different brain frequencies. Like, look at this random sacred Egyptian frequency, cosmic knowledge, light dragons, like Archangel Michael. There's literally so many of these on here. So shout out, you know, to the Crystal Wave channel on YouTube. Let me see. Yeah, healing energy for soul is really good for going to sleep or recovering from any sickness at all. So shout out these two channels. Obviously, a lot of it's 432 hertz and 528 hertz and 741 hertz, because the first one is grounding, the second one is self-love and compassion, and then the third one is removing EMF frequency protection and removing negative energy or negative thought patterns. So, again, the future of healing is through sound and science together. But these are just some recommendations I have for grounding if you're doing it indoors, or if you want to ground at night and wake up recharged.
Excuse me. Right. So, let me recenter myself in this tripod now. So that's all the information, right? Everybody can use. So some grounding, healing frequencies. And I shared earlier how I had to use a parasympathetic sound bowl frequency for me to even be able to go to sleep last night. So yeah. And you know what? Since it is 5:33, I am gonna go over these until 6 or about 6-ish. Because the sun is starting to set now, like outside. Um, you know, you can see a little bit better than through the blinds. Sorry. But it's going to get very, very cold outside, after the sun sets. So yeah, I want to still go outside, go for a little walk, after I eat something, because I might potentially go to the store later. But anyway, I'm gonna go over a few more, and I'm gonna save this one actually, like this 6-part one, and just talk about it in a like a YouTube, like react like this, maybe a live stream, but I want to be able to pause and talk about some things, because this is an hour of ranting, right? But they're all about very specific things. So it was for Indigenous Remembrance Day, and I was sharing a lot of lessons that my ancestors taught me, especially about spiritual warfare and about decolonizing the mind. So this one is like specific experiences that I had. This is around decolonization. This is around the cost of being ungrounded, which I just talked about. Please be grounded. Please start with meditation because it does come at a cost if you try to, move past that without having that foundation, right? Soul scattering, excuse me, and then my views on certain things, and then being real online. So they all kind of piggyback into the other video, but these are specifically around my spiritual experiences. So it's around possession, it's around energy scattering, it's around decolonization, it's around working with my ancestors at all, it's around just getting more into spirituality, hoodoo, obeah, stuff like that. So, yes, some people would just call it all witchcraft, but there is a difference. Just like how I talked about that store owner and her employees are all Wicca. Like, I'm not that. I'm not a witch either, but I do definitely dive deeper into the unknown. Let's just say that. So, I want to talk about that on a different date, is what I mean. That should be a separate stream. I'm going to just decide that now. But this is a good transition to go into.
They can gain from people.
So, this is a stitch with this person's video. Their videos kept popping up on my For You page. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I see this one. I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. So it says, greetings to all who see this. This is a really quick biblical rooted perspective tied with Kemetic knowledge on demonology. I was able to write down from my experience with them and exorcism in detail. Please listen to the whole video. Humanity is not doomed or damned. We ascend with knowledge. So this is my title. So this is the stitch, right? But it's with someone talking about warlocks, Jezebels, energy vampires, and ego-driven narcissists. And narcissists are possessed people. So it's all the same. They're talking about spiritually possessed people being damned, or they were just saying you can't really help them. And I'm like, hold up, hold up. You can't have a future if you're just seeing people
They
as
can gain from people, how they can manipulate people, all the lies, the deceit.
Yeah.
Hello.
So if you want to hear her full perspective, it is good stuff that she's talking about, but it's the end, like the conclusion that we come up with is totally different. So while they have experiences that are absolutely true, and other people like myself have these experiences as well, I'm someone who's able to exercise myself and get out of that, which was a way that I was able to break a generational curse around a certain spirit. So I'm not going to say that people are just damned or you leave them where they're at, possessed. No, that's not my mission.
All the lies,
So, yeah.
the deceit.
Hello, it is Jaziel, grounding coach and aura specialist here, and I would like to add on to that previous person's video. So I am stitching this to add a little bit more context from a Christian or biblical perspective. I myself do not call myself a Christian. I would consider myself someone who embodies Christ consciousness, which is ascending and embodying unconditional love. And the universe will do the rest for you, right? The creator will do the rest for you and perform miracles. As long as you're operating out of unconditional love and embodying that, right? And I believe there are many figures other than, that one figure from the Bible that did embody unconditional love, right? And they were known as prophets or Buddhas or, historical figures, let's just say, over time, right? But I would like to go back to the biblical perspective because I will share more on my page about the different perspectives within different practices of life and different religions. But
Right,
specifically,
long-term goal.
this video brought something back to mind that I had written in my notebook a while ago, my beautiful cursive. So I wrote this in June 24th of 2025, and I was going through some shadow work and processing the exorcism that I had to go through as an initiation, and all of those who are shamanic.
And this is why some people don't work with their ancestors, because the initiations are so heavy at times. Like, imagine you being able to work with your ancestor comes at a cost of you exercising yourself. Like, they're teaching you, they're training you, they're helping you, obviously, to exercise this spirit from you. But some people legitimately stop there and they're like, oh, I'm cursed, I'm hexed, I'm whatever. I'll leave all the spiritual stuff alone. And they never access their spiritual gifts. And they never connect with their ancestors. Right? That's not a hypothetical. Family members in my bloodline have not done the initiations that I have because I was willing to still go through with these things. And this is the result.
By blood have to do this to be able to exercise others.
I had probably cut it off with pausing, but I was saying being a shaman by blood, this is a part of your initiation. So me calling myself a shaman, I've been initiated. I've done the work to have that title. I'm not just saying, oh, I'm a shaman by blood. All my grandparents and their grandparents and their grandparents, they were shamans, so I'm a shaman. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? So please watch the whole video.
Which I also believe is the point of the biblical historical figures' perspectives. They were able to cast out demons from others because they did it within themselves. But there's a lot of chunks and things missing from the Bible. So it's very intentional the way that was done. So people don't know how to ascend. But anyway, so as I was going through the time where I was possessed and completely just disconnected.
I don't want to answer comments right now also. I just deleted the person who just commented. I don't know what your intention was. Even though you said let's connect, but the way you worded the rest of that, I don't know what your intention is. So let's just stay on topic, okay? I'm reacting and sharing context to these videos. So let me scoot back a little bit, but let's stay on topic,
the point
please.
of the biblical historical figures' perspectives. They were able to cast out demons from others because they did it within themselves. But there's a
Right.
lot of chunks and things missing from the Bible. So it's very intentional the way that
450 different versions of the Bible proves my point.
that was done. So people don't know how to ascend. But anyway, so as I was going through the time where I was possessed and completely just disconnected from reality, right?
Walk with me now. Walk with me
having
now. Walk with me.
paranormal activity, as some may call it, but it was very real to my senses. It was things that were blinding my sight, things that were around my throat trying to choke me, things that were happening in trance like states or visions, or I would be woken up from a nightmare. Um, just different things that were happening, right? Um, and I did have certain spirits on me that I'm not going to go into and say, but this was my reflection from that. And something that I was able to overcome instead of staying like those people that the previous video spoke about. So this is someone who was able to take off that mask and release those spirits of possession from them. So these are illusion spirits or the spirits of fear, which is false evidence appearing real. Hence why I said I was disconnected from reality because I was paying attention to things that were false. They were illusions, right? So instead of calling them demons, I refer to them as illusion spirits. And then those illusion spirits lead to binding spirits, to where that person is not in control of themselves anymore. They're bound. So this is why it's
Energetically.
important that I want to share this from the Christian perspective. Because again, the more you educate, the more you can become aware of something. The more you can become aware of something, the more you can release that fear or the illusion around it and exercise yourself, right?
AKA take your power back.
So the illusion or fear spirits, false evidence appearing real, are in order of entrance. So these again lead to binding spirits. The first one is a spirit of delay. When something is pushed back or not timed correctly, this spirit may enter our thoughts or thinking with intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts, again, thoughts of doubt or delay. And then delay leads to, like I just said, doubt. And this is when an intrusive thought or an intimidating opinion, maybe from someone you heard and it sticks in your mind instead of being released. But this doubt spirit um, is like interacting with the intrusive thoughts or with those intimidating opinions or with those projections. So when they enter your mind, you focus more on it. So more thoughts come in and it creates an echo or multiplies, right? So after the delay comes in the doubt, then anxiety comes in right after that. And anxiety is continuous, hypervigilant, destructive, negative thinking about any topic, not anything specifically, and excuse me, or about a personal choice or connection that you have. This can lead to rapid psychosis or self sabotaging behavior. A general sense of heaviness comes in when the spirit of anxiety um, enters and stays, basically. So after delay, doubt, anxiety comes double minded. So this is when you are aware completely that something's wrong. You're not living life the way you used to. You don't feel like you're in control of your actions. You feel impulsive. This leads to a double minded or split thinking, right? So you have feelings um, as if you make a choice, then later you disagree with the choice you made, or you disagree with that option that you chose or that stance that you chose over another option. You feel restless. You can't sleep very well. You can't think for too long about something. Just rapid thoughts. You can't trust the people around you sometimes, right? Also, it feels like you are missing something or always seeking another route to doing something via advice, a different option, a different relationship, a different career, whatever it is. You are extremely dissatisfied. You have a clouded mindset, feel like mental fog. You might become bedridden or very judgmental of others, often ungrateful. So those are, again, that one I just talked about was being double-minded, right? And all of that leads to binding spirits, those Jezebels, those warlocks, those energy vampires, those parasitic spirits. All of those things, I'm speaking them to inform you of, the order. I'm not trying to call anything or speak any death or negativity onto anyone. This is just for educational purposes only, right? But those fear spirits or illusion spirits do come in a specific order. And then that leads up to possession, where that completely controls the person and turns it, let's just say for a Jezebel, that's something that is about destroying relationships by using people to get things, or to get, like the person said in the other video, to get status, to get a comfortable life, to get into a relationship, or something that you don't truly value, but it's something that will elevate your life to a different level, so to speak. Um, and I feel like everybody knows about energy vampires by now, but energy vampires are people that try to get close to you, to literally like destiny swap, like try to take the life that you have and insert themselves in it to then take over your life, just by using your positive energy or using your life force energy by scattering it. Um, so, yeah.
It's like when people say, "Oh, I lost my spark." They're talking about their energy.
But again, if you would like to hear it again, the spirits of illusion come in delay, then doubt, anxiety, and becoming double-minded, right? And if you're not grounded in your life, these are so quickly to enter, right? So quickly to enter. And then we label them in society as mental illness, when really it's your spirit and your body, mind, spirit, all those things being out of alignment. And if they're out of alignment, you're not grounded. And if you're not grounded, you become uprooted, leaving room for a spirit to enter and bring in other spirits. So I hope that helps someone today. I just felt the need to share that. But these are spirits, again, you can absolutely cast out and become more grounded after doing so. It's not a permanent thing. Take it from me.
Okay, so I think that was in the perfect. Oh, I did the X thing again. Shoot. Oh, take you out of the whole page. Oh my gosh. So that is the perfect transition now. And again, I'm gonna do another live tomorrow before I completely delete all these videos. But this is I talked about the biomechanics. I talked about the spiritual side. I talked about what to ground yourself with. I talked about a lot of it. This was just advice for people online, really on TikTok, on this app, talking about. Well, I'll share that. That might be the last video I share. I'm trying to look if there's another one, because the rest of these get into auras and certain specific things. Like this is someone talking about what is it? Where is their thing? My take on the savior complex, which is a part of a narcissistic personality trait, is savior complex. This I have posted on my YouTube. It's talking about how despite everything, the food, the environment, all that stuff, we are basically miracles to even exist today in the way that we do. And then I give context as to why as I eat a bowl of cereal. But yeah, let me see, because I might just share that one video, but let me go through the others and double check, because tomorrow I want it to be about more stitching and personal experiences. This is about anti-AI, but I might just share this one more. Mm. Yeah, because I have 2 of these, or 3 of these already posted on my YouTube, so I'm gonna leave it unless it transitions. And then this is a YouTube live from my shamanic perspective, talking about society. Yeah. I already shared quite a few, but these are specifically about CPTSD and the impact on it. And then this is about people pleasing. So let me just. There's not even that many videos. Funny enough, I want to make sure I'm not leaving one out before I completely end stream after this one video. But yeah, the most 2 recent ones that I posted are about the harm of social media causing psychosis today, and then OpenAI and ChatGPT kind of forcing people to have a more involvement in environmental harm by being on social media or certain websites. But yeah, I'm gonna play this video and leave it.
All right. Hello. It's a boo. Whenever you're seeing this, grand rising, grand afternoon, grand evening to you. I just tried to film a video really quickly, and the lighting like goes in and out, in and out. I don't know.
TikTok picked this background music, by the way.
But anyway, I'm just gonna get this message out and try to keep it brief. All right. So, I had posted a whole paragraph and a dancing, background to it. But this is from one of the texts that I had put up. The font got messed up somehow, but I already know it's trickster energy out here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share this message I rewrote it to share it. And this is kind of like what I'm overall getting at with this message is please don't get in your own way when there are actually people 111 as I just looked at the recording. And people are trying to help you or trying to teach you or trying to expand your mind past the limiting belief, past the roadblock, the barrier that you feel either energetically or mentally or just in your life and whatever shape that takes directly. But there are genuinely people who are gifted with wisdom and spiritual gifts and things that are not from this world. And that's because they've done the work spiritually. That's because they've released their past. You guys want to talk about star seeds and light workers and all this stuff, but those are people who are literally superhuman in the way that we look at people and the evolution of humanity. Those are superhumans who completely reshape their minds and connect with the God within them.
Changing their DNA.
The power within them to, number one, call back their power from everything in their past and to only live in the present. That's a superhuman in the terms of humanity that we experience and know today. That's a superhuman person. And some people would even say they're not human, but I digress. Talking to people in real life is so different than being on social media now. Genuinely hardworking people, but some are tremendously lost. They would accept a helping hand or words of wisdom. And this is just from me going out and talking to people. Like, I go up to anyone to talk to. I'm not uncomfortable having uncomfortable conversations, asking for an opinion, asking for directions, asking where's the bathroom, whatever. I go up to people and I talk to them, and the conversation gets deep very quickly So that's what I mean by these are genuinely hardworking people in the world, but some of them are lost and they would gladly accept a, a word of encouragement, a helping hand, an ear to listen to, a hug, a handshake. You don't know how valuable those things are today because of how disconnected and lost people are within themselves, within their spirit, within society. Online, on the other hand, if you offer any of the latter, you are often met with hostility or arrogance, and oftentimes a debate would ensue. The ego and psychosis shouldn't go hand in hand, but some are determined to make that point. This reflection makes me proud of myself as far as my self love journey and with radical self acceptance. I could have turned out differently had I not reconnected with my mind, body, and spirit, or mind, body, and soul, as some people like to say. Now, um, to pivot here, um, that's something that I'm really just genuinely trying to help people online, help people, especially on TikTok. There's so much information coming out right now.
Yep.
Right now. If you're not grounded, if you're not taking a break from being on the internet, if you're not taking care of your body, staying hydrated, like, it will overload your system, right?
Right. We talked about the fascia. We talked about biomechanics. We talked about the vitamin and hormone levels in the brain, right? So we understand this sentiment now in the full context, right?
And people who claim to be spiritual oftentimes have just broken away from a certain pattern, right? Just like people who wear talismans, just like people who, what's it called, who change their appearance. It's something that they are leaving behind and they want to completely branch off from. Um, and sometimes they get paranoid, sometimes they act completely different, sometimes they move or do like drastic things to break away from their past or to change how they act now.
All things that I have done. So again, I only speak from experience. But I preach in such a stern way because I don't want people to make the same mistakes I did.
Today. Um, Differentiate themselves. And I want to just make sure that people, especially on this app, like I said, are not taking everything in and just feeling like they know better than people, that they know way more, exponentially more, or that just because they read something, everything else is a lie, everything else is fake, everything else is false, when really we are just now waking up to the truth. We're just now waking up to how corrupted certain groups are, let's just say. We're just now waking up to how connected our struggles are. We're just now waking up to the fact that we actually have been the ones with the power. So much so that they try to put barriers and boundaries and things in the way of having your own business, having your own farm, like growing vegetables, raising the animals yourself, planting the seeds and the trees and all these things yourself. So you don't need a middleman. So you don't need a higher up. So you don't need to have a boss when you're your own business and you're your own grower and you learn how your body works without pharmaceuticals, without a doctor, without all these things that don't really teach us how to understand ourselves. Same thing as someone who learns how to do their own hair. They don't have to spend hundreds of dollars and traveling and booking appointments when they know how to do it themselves. Right? When you know how to do something yourself, you're not taking it out on others. You're appreciating what you have. You're more grateful for the time that you have. you actually care about yourself on a deeper level. So all this arguing, you're wrong, this isn't right, this isn't that. We are uncovering the secrets behind religion right now. Those are some of the oldest things that have enslaved humanity, and we're just now learning to put these pieces together.
On an energetic level, think of how much religion and wars on an energetic level have dominated humanity. Just think about that.
Okay, we are experiencing so much energy and information and just connectivity, even with ideas, even with whatever you can think of. We are experiencing an influx of it, of technology, of psychology, of civilization, of pain, of joy, of revelations, of evolution, of spiritual awakening. All these things are happening in influx right now. If you're here on this earth, you're meant to experience and ground your experiences through expression. That's it. So don't go thinking you're some enlightened being above everyone else when you're right here next to me. You're right here watching what I'm doing. You're still right here in this physical plane. Please take it easy on yourself. And also be humble. Be humble and love yourself so that you could love other people. And if not, don't include yourself with others.
And that ending piece was also sternly said because there are so many people, and I almost did it again. I almost pushed that X again. There are a lot of people who are like, well, I'm spiritual, I'm this, I'm that. Why haven't I ascended out of my body, you know? And it's like, hey, buddy, you're in your body and you're on this earth for a reason, you know? You're not some enlightened being that's just seen past everything and knows all the answers. If you're sitting right next to me or posting on TikTok, and I just, it's very annoying. It's so annoying seeing people go online and just talk like they know all of the answers when freaking Buddhist monks right now are not even doing that. And they dedicate their entire life to being balanced and sending peaceful energy to the world and spreading that message because they understand that enlightenment is not through how much you know. It's through how much of the human experience you live fully and accept for what it is. They don't try to get rid of their feelings. They don't try to tell people how to live their life. They don't go making wars. They don't cause trouble. They don't do any of that. They are not chaotic in the way that the rest of the world is. So they understand their position in this world is to lessen the chaos that they're seeing and help people understand how they don't have to live with chaos, aka suffering, by meditating and by removing attachments. So yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. And it's 6:07. My stomach is starting to actually hurt. I'm hungry. But it's just funny that all of the videos populated today. I'm gonna go through, delete what I just shared on this live. It's almost 3 hours long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here before the 3-hour mark. Yeah, because 2 of these specifically are about AI, and then some of the other things are stitches.
and then about the aura. So it goes together: mental awareness, work, field explanation, as it relates to narcissistic relationships or energy vampires. So they kind of all, again, like lay hand in hand type of thing. So I'm gonna save it. I don't think that I'm going to again be posting these, like this 6-part hour-long series. I'm gonna make a separate live for that. And I think going on live is actually just easier for me than posting a video because of the way that the algorithm is and the way that that I don't have to edit anything also. So it's easier for me. Sorry, the way that the tripod is sitting on my bed right now is not going to allow that. But I do have on here deleting on the 20th, but I'm trying to do it before then. So that I will just focus on school. So if I don't delete it tomorrow, I will on Monday. I'm not gonna have a TikTok past Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, is what I'm saying. And then I haven't posted like an updated analytics for my YouTube on here because of that, but I still have the post from trying to meet that 150 subscriber count goal. So, but I know also going on live is like a cheat code because like every time I go live, at least 1 or 2 people follow me. So, I want to say thank you to the 2 likes that I got on the stream as well. But the downside of doing YouTube lives is for some reason the copyright, like that whole live, I was saying they just cut my audio together, not even the music, they just cut the audio entirely. So you cannot play music on live at all. Or just, I don't know, it's something about the way that YouTube makes money is through copywriting and licensing music. So yeah, or sounds. Let's just say certain sounds. Because I didn't play any music yesterday, and I'm sorry, last time I went live, I still got a copyright strike, and I don't know if it's because of the sounds I played from the TikTok videos that were trending, but if they copyright this live, then it's absolutely nothing that I could do about copyright. I don't think they are because it was just me talking in all of these videos. I didn't play any music in the background. And I didn't react to another YouTuber's YouTube video, that was posted like I did the first time. Yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna end it here. It's 6:11, so I did go past the 6 o'clock marker. But yeah, again, my YouTube, my Facebook, my TikTok are all under the same handle, the balanced being. But for only a few more days, this TikTok will be up. I currently have 90 followers. I have my business card as my profile picture, and I have 3 pinned videos. 2 of them are around the aura and the religious, spiritual significance of those things. The other one is to a YouTube live that I talked about earlier on here. I'm so grateful to the people who have watched the whole stream through and through. I know a lot more people watch the replays of the live streams. The last one got like 76 views, I think, when I checked, and it was only a max viewership of 33 people. So, yeah, I'm not consistently on a schedule for streaming, but after I go through the rest of this media, I will try to get on a schedule, especially since I will be as closest to full time as I can handle right now, as a college student full time. So right now they're like, you're 3/4 of full time. So yeah, but this year, again, I said it last stream, but this year I do want to get monetized for my social media. And I'm not planning on deleting and making a new YouTube account, so I'm going to either react to the old videos, give context, and delete the old videos and keep up the, the ones that I've talked about on stream, or, given a before and after of how I think. But some of the posts I have saved just for like, not time capsule per se, but like to see the evolution of how I've progressed in my views, in my viewership. So I do want to keep those up, I will say. Just like some of the tarot videos I've kept up. The readings are timeless. So I believe my collective, the people who've gone through similar things, or the people who are on the same journey as me, will see the content and appreciate it. So, and then if you're just here because of educational content, because you want to know more about grounding or your biofield, your aura, more about the intersection of spirituality and science, or religion and science, because they all come together, right? Please watch this whole stream and subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment, whatever you feel like doing to engage. So yeah, I really appreciate the people who came from that TikTok story post today and the other day when I went live, or before I went live, to go over these videos. But I thank you for the support and the growth on this channel. I am going to be more consistent, and I'm not going to ever become one of those people that's just like high production, high budget, not as, honest. I don't want to ever get a sponsorship or anything in the future, I'm saying, that jeopardizes how I share information either. So I haven't looked into sponsorships or getting an agent or a manager or whatever, because it is something that I want to build and solely be the credit of. I don't want to be like, well, so and so helped me or this person made me. Like, I never want to do that ever. So, yeah, that's the intention, to go over the rest of the TikToks maybe tomorrow, but before the end of Monday. So, yeah. I will definitely start earlier in the day for the stream though, because I do like spending, the night times or right after I wake up, just checking on the games I play on my phone or YouTube, or listening to music, taking things slowly for the little bit of time that I do have left to take things slowly. It was like the last weekend of freedom in a sense, meaning like I get to plan things and eat things and do things the way I want. After this weekend, it's gonna be like, okay, deadlines, reliant on other people, communication, the college experience. So yeah, I want to say thank you again for watching, and peace.